What happened to Marty 2.0? Hello, everybody. This is JP Alexander for the Rabid Dogs Unleashed. It is Thursday, April 15th, 2021. And it's been a while since I've made a video, and I'm making one now because I have something on my mind. I know it's not very often I have something on my little peeny little brain. Last night I watched Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2 is on right now. Tomorrow they're going to have Back to the Future 3. It's funny, here they don't play Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 on the same night. They play one night of just Back to the Future, like probably one after the other. Last night I watched it once, and then when it was done, I thought Back to the Future 2 was going to come on. No, Back to the Future came on again. And tonight they're going to play Back to the Future probably 2 times, and tomorrow they're going to play Back to the Future 3. Tonight they're playing Back to the Future 2. Tomorrow they play Back to the Future 3, probably 2-3 times. I'll probably watch that. This I haven't. This I don't know. Is it good? It's alright. I kind of like the. And this one they do take more time doing. They take more time figuring things out. In the first one they made a lot of mistakes. Well, this one they make mistakes too, but this one they have more going on. But the first one is pretty straightforward. The one problem I have with the first one, and this is what I'm going to talk about when I said what I did in the beginning. But I'm not going to get into the things like a 17-year-old being friends with a 65-year-old guy, even though I might touch upon that a little bit, and some other errors in the movie. Nope. I'm going to ask the question, what happened to Marty 2.0? Before you start to say, who the hell is Marty 2.0? I'll tell you. Marty McFly has white trash parents. This kid who rides a skateboard in 1985. He's got a rock band. Nobody in the band seems to like him. The band's going nowhere. He has a girlfriend who seems to like him a lot. But he's hanging out with this 65-year-old loony bin. So I don't know how much future this guy's got. His parents seem to be white trash losers. The husband is a dweeb, a schlub, with greased back hair like he's back in the 1950s. He's emasculated by his boss, Biff, who seems to abuse him on a daily basis. The wife, Marty's mother, Lorraine, is an overweight alcoholic. And the son works at a fast food establishment. That's Hollywood's way of saying they're losers. Okay, and the daughter's overweight and wears bad clothes. So Marty doesn't have a lot going on in his life, So anyway, he ends up with Doc in a parking lot at 1 o'clock in the morning. Doc tells him to meet him there. Doc shows him a time machine. Libyans come to kill Doc because Doc didn't pay the Libyans money for the plutonium he needed. That's a crappy thing to do. You should have paid them. What do you think? You're just going to steal from them and they're going to be okay with it? Probably not very smart on Doc's point. Anyway, Doc gets killed. Marty tries to run away from the Libyans. He jumps in the car. He's speeding in the car to try to get away. The car hits 88 miles an hour, and pachoom, he's whisked off to the date that the car set up to go to, November 20th, 1955, which happens to be the same day that Doc Brown ends up creating the theory of the flux capacitor. But it was also the same day that Marty's parents meet, small world, and the same week that the clock tower gets hit by a bolt of lightning, which prompts people in 1985 to ask for donations to fix the clock tower. They haven't fixed it in 30 years. Some fucking town that is, huh? Jeez. The mayor's the guy who's in the diner. And, that mayor's the guy, who works in the diner in the movie. He's not successful as a mayor. He seems to be doing a pretty shitty job if the clock tower doesn't work after 30 years. Anyway, moving on from that. Marty does his business in 1955, and then he goes back to 1985. Now, he sets the car a little sooner so he could save Doc from getting killed by the Libyans because, well, he watched Doc get killed by the Libyans. That's a horrific thing. But when back to 55, Doc's alive, still is alive, of course, because in 1955, it was 30 years before 85. Of course, he's still alive. So he works with him to get back to 1985, excuse me, and Doc helps him go back with the bolt of lightning from the clock tower. We all know this, okay? He comes back, the car breaks down, he runs to the mall parking lot. He's looking into the mall parking lot from a side street. He sees the Libyans kill Doc. He's not in time. But he sees himself jump into the DeLorean, get it to 88 miles an hour. In a little parking lot, a DeLorean, 4,000 pounds, 100 and something like 45 horsepower. I don't think so. DeLorean wasn't that fast. I mean, all that weight they got on with the flux capacitor, all this shit, that thing's probably like 6,000 pounds. You think that 100 and something horsepower engine is going to get that car to 88 miles an hour in that little parking lot? Hell no. But that's another thing you have to suspend belief on and just go with it. Okay, so that's not Marty. Because Marty is there. That's got to be Marty 2.0. Who's Marty 2.0? The Marty who was born to George and Lorraine McFly. After Marty changed 1955. The Marty who changed 1955 is the Marty that was born from the original George and Lorraine. You know, the loser George and Lorraine. The George who's getting emasculated by Biff all the time. The George who's not a successful science fiction writer. The Lorraine who just was like, oh, we kissed, I love him, he's my man, you know. Those parents raised the Marty McFly we know and love, Marty McFly 1.0. That Marty McFly is the product of the new and improved George and Lorraine. This Marty McFly has a pickup truck in the garage. This Marty McFly has Biff waxing that truck. That's how much the Marty McFly, the 2.0, has got it made. He's got something like Hill Valley, your privilege. Is it called Hill Valley? Something like that. Privilege, if you will. Yes. And his father's a successful, science fiction writer, and his parents have sex, a lot. Well, you saw that they play tennis together, and his brother works at an office, wears a suit every day, and the daughter's got a better hairstyle, and she wears better clothes. Wow. What a better life, okay? That's who raised the Marty 2.0. The Marty 1.0, he's from another 1985. Not the 1985 that he went back to. No, the different 1985. He still exists. He's still an entity. That's why that whole thing with him he's disappearing, that's bullshit. That wouldn't have happened. So Marty comes back and sees the Marty 2.0 go back to 1955. My question is, why did Marty 2.0 have to go back to 1955? Why? There's no reason to go back to 1955. There's no reason for him to go back to 1955. Now, Doc knows he's not going to be killed by the Libyans, but he knows what happened in the parking lot that night. He spent a week with Marty back in 1955. He knows that he invented the flux capacitor, so he knows he really doesn't have to. He knows how dangerous it could be, especially since Marty came back and almost fucked up 1955, and he has to go through all this shit to get him back. He knows I don't need him to go back to 1955 again. Of course not. You're not going to try to talk the new Marty McFly, the Marty McFly 2.0, who would probably not even give you the time of day in real life. You think this Marty McFly is going to hang out with a 65-year-old loon? Probably like, dude, I got friends. I'm getting laid. I'm getting vag over here left and right. I got a fucking truck. These girls love me. I'm a winner. I'm going to hang out with this, 65-year-old loon, mad scientist. No fucking way. He's not going to hang out with him. So in real life, that would never happen. He'd never hang out with him. So how does he get him? He's going to have to pay him. The only way he's going to do it is if you pay him money. Now, why would you pay him money to go back to 1985? You wouldn't pay him money to go back to 1985. There's a reason he pays him money to go back to 1985. He had to pay him money. There's no other way Marty McFly 2.0 would go back in 1985 with Doc unless Doc gave him a lot of money. Why did he do that? Because he's got to stop the cycle. There's only two things that could happen here, okay? Marty McFly 1.0, the Marty McFly who Doc loves, his friend, his buddy, comes back and then Doc would say, Doc's been alive for the last 30 years. He didn't travel 30 years ahead in time. He's an older man. He's lived out last 30 years. He knows everything that's happened. He's seen probably George and Lorraine have the new Marty McFly, and he didn't say anything to him. And he's like, that guy's going to grow up rich, whatever. He's not going to want anything to do with me, which he doesn't. So I'm not gonna even bother getting plutonium to make this. I'm not gonna buy a DeLorean, piece of shit DeLorean, and put all this shit on it to send it back to the future. Of course I'm not gonna do that. I know I could do it. It's already happened. I'm not gonna have to do it. So he's gonna say no. So Marty runs to the mall. He's gonna see nobody there, and he's gonna go to here's the problem. Here's the dilemma. He's gonna go to Doc's house, and Doc's going to say, yeah, I didn't do it because I did it already, and it's dangerous, and I don't want you to go back. I don't want anybody to go back and fuck it up. I don't want Marty 2 to go back and fuck it up. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to have anything to do with that. But there's a problem. You can't go back to your house. Why? Marty 2 is there. You're nobody. You don't exist. The Marty who was raised by the white trash George and Lorraine, that doesn't exist because there's no white trash George and Lorraine. It's almost like you don't exist. You're an entity here. You're almost like George Bailey, another famous George, and this weird paradox, right? Yes, you're like him. You don't exist. So if you go back to that house, they're going to draw you out. They're going to call the cops. They're going to say, you look like our son, but you're not our son. You have no place to go. You don't exist on this planet Earth. I suggest you go off and you just find an alternate, maybe I can help you get a fake ID. And you could go run off somewhere. No one's looking for you or anything. No one even knows you exist. You got the fingerprints of somebody who already exists. I don't know. But I would say go somewhere and just, basically the best thing for you to do is to kill yourself. That's the best thing for you to do. But you're not going to do that. And you're my friend. This is Doc speaking to, Marty 1.0, by the way. So I'm sorry it happened that way, but just has created a paradox, a loop that will keep on happening unless I stop the loop. And the only way I can stop the loop is if two things, and this is one of them, not have Marty 2.0 go back to 1955. And I did. I stopped the loop, and I'm sorry, but you're going to have to do something with your life, and then you can't go back home. You're a 17-year-old. You can stay here for a couple of days, but in this town, it's not that big of a town. They're going to see you, and they're going to think you're Marty McFly, and Marty McFly's going to see you, and they're going to be like, who is this fucking guy? And it's going to be a bunch of shit. They may even pay you money to get the hell out of town. So you got to get the hell out of here. You're nobody. You don't exist. I'm sorry. That's just the way this thing works. It sucks, but, again, you can kill yourself. That would be the best thing, but I'm not going to make you do that. That's the first option. That's an option Doc probably wants to do. But the second option, this is what I believe happened, because we know Marty McFly 2.0 goes back to 1955. We see it. We know what happens. So why does it happen? Because Doc probably had to pay him money to get him to go for it, okay? Because he probably would be like, who's this loon? You pay me enough money? Okay, yeah, sure. I'll drive it doing 88 miles an hour. And then, pachoom, I go back to 1955. That sounds pretty cool. Then he said to him, when you get back to 1955, you look for me. I'm going to send you back to 1985. Sure, I'll look for you. And he probably went right to the house. And this is probably around maybe before Marty 1.0 showed up at the house, because Marty 1.0 had to do his whole bunch of shit and end up at Lorraine's house watching the repeats. His mother's house with his grandparents there watching the repeats, and his uncles and everything like that. So anyway, yeah. So I just lost my way. I just lost where I just was. So he pays him to go back to 1955, and then he says, come meet me at the thing, and he meets him there, and he kills him. He kills him. He puts a bullet in his head. He says, hey, come to the garage. I'm going to show you something. Boom. Puts a bullet in his head, kills him, buries the body. You didn't find a body. He doesn't exist. He's nobody. He's just a vagrant or something. So he buries the body somewhere, whatever. He might even say to Marty, maybe that should have been the first one. Maybe when he comes to visit Marty, he goes to Marty, hey, I just killed the 2.0 of you to stop this loop happening, so you got to help me bury the body. That might have been a good, that would explain what happened to Marty 2.0. That's what I think happened to Marty 2.0. I think Marty 2.0 was paid by Doc Brown to go back to 1955 so we can kill him and stop because wouldn't Marty 2.0 come back at the same time that Marty 1.0 has come back? Wouldn't Marty 1.0 come running up to the thing to stop the murder, and there's Marty 2.0 and Marty 3.0 and Marty 4.0? It would just keep on going. It won't end. And Doc in 1955 would just be waiting by his door. He would get knocks on his door every day. Hey, you got to help me get back to 1955. The clock tower's going. It'll just be, how many people? Maybe 100 people will be at his door. 100 Marty McFly's being at his door to go back to the future. Wouldn't that be fucked up? When does it end? When does the paradox end? When somebody gets killed. Either somebody gets killed or Marty McFly is going to have to fucking come back to 1985 and not exist and have to find something to do. You're not wanted here. Your family's doing good without you. Your new Marty McFly's doing well. He's going to college. You ain't. You ain't getting good grades because you're a fucking loser. And your guitar playing ain't going to put you into the stratosphere of being a rock star. That ain't happening. Especially playing Huey Lewis songs, heavy metal style. That ain't going to happen. That's what I think happened, to Marty McFly 2.0. He was killed in the future. He'd have to be. He'd have to be because he doesn't come back. What happens to him? Then Marty wakes up in bed. This is something that really irks me too about the movie. He wakes up in bed and he finds out his parents are there. His brother's there. He's like, oh, why are you wearing a suit? I always wear a suit to go to the office. He doesn't know who his brother is. His brother works in the office now. He doesn't know that. He knows his brother as a loser who works in McDonald's. He knows his parents as losers. He doesn't know his father is a successful writer. These people are not the people he grew up with. These people have different experiences. Marty 2.0 has different experiences. Marty 2.0 could live with these people. He can get along with these people. Not Marty 1.0. Marty 1.0 is a fish out of water. How long it's going to be before they call psychiatrists and say, our son has lost his mind. He doesn't remember anything that we've done, that's happened in our lives for the past 17 years. 17 years of Marty McFly 2.0's life has been erased. And your mind, not erased, he's probably dead or wherever the hell he is. Okay, but you're going to come into this family, you're a different human being. You look the same, and you're Marty McFly, okay, but you're a different Marty McFly with different experiences. Doesn't that dictate who you are? Exactly. It's not just who you are, your body, or who raised you, or whatever. It's how they raised you. Yes, it's who raised you, yeah. Poor white trash George and Lorraine, or rich George and Lorraine. You're going to be, a different person. You just don't go into the garage and Biff goes, oh, I got the keys, I waxed the car. You're just not going to fall right into that. That's not going to happen. They should have did their homework better on this. This is a big mistake in this movie. And what happened to Marty 2.0? Either he dies or Marty 1.0 has to learn to live without his parents or without family, without friends or anything, and go away. I think the first one didn't happen. I think Marty McFly 2.0 was killed by Doc in 1955. And it would be good if they would have added that into the movie. That would explain that scene right there. He comes back, he says, oh, Marty McFly 2.0 just left. He doesn't know he's going to be killed right away. It sucks to be him. Oh, well, I'm going to go to his house and live his life. And I'm going to bang his girlfriend, who was my girlfriend. Really? He's sleeping with, because Marty McFly 2.0 got that girl. That girl's the same girl, at least for the rest of the first movie, until she turned into Elizabeth Shue in the second movie. Yeah, that's a whole other thing that I don't want to even tackle. But yeah, whatever happened to Marty 2.0? My theory, he was killed by Doc Brown in 1955 to end the loop that would keep on going. And because he's loyal to his friend Marty 1.0. This is something that the makers of the film didn't show you, because they can't show you, Marty McFly. Any Marty McFly got shot in the head. But I think it would have been good if they would have showed, Marty McFly 1.0 helping him bury the body. That would explain a lot. You would have been like, what the hell's going on? But then you start seeing it would have all made sense, because now why isn't he coming back? There's a big question. Why isn't Marty 2.0 coming back? Because Stuck in 1955. Yeah, his body's buried somewhere in 1955. Unless he was smart, he ran. But then why would you go back to 1955 in the first place if you know something seedy was going on? Again, he was paid by Doc. He went back. He was killed by Doc. Doc had to kill him. So Marty McFly. That's the best thing that can happen. You changed. You fucked up. You fucked up the past. You should be glad I'm doing this for you. You fucked up 55. You should be glad I'm giving you the chance to come into a rich house. You don't know who these people are. No, these aren't the people you grew up with. I know, but guess what? I'm giving you a fucking truck you haven't had before. Okay? The good thing is you got the same girlfriend, and Biff is waxing your car. You got a big comeuppance, right? I would be pretty fucking happy. That's the best thing I'm gonna do for you. You should be glad. You fucked up the past. I'm fixing the present. Now, don't fuck up the future. Anyway, that's all I got to say on this subject. I'm sure I'll have more to say on part 2, maybe. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. JP Alexander for the Rabid Dogs Unleashed. Until next time, ciao.